Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Jet Cross from NASCAR and MDK. Welcome back to another video. Again, we're still doing the theme of not having a green screen. Don't worry, next video I do, I'll make sure to have a green screen popped up. I know it looks weird with having stuff behind me in the background, but next video I'll be sure to have one up. Just don't like getting ready for stuff like this. Just like to talk and what I think is going to happen. So, story came out. We all expected it to happen. It didn't expect it to happen this quickly, but regardless, Kyle Larson has been confirmed. He has been fired from Chip Ganassi Racing over comments that he said during Sunday night's iRacing event in the Mazda Madness, where he said the racial slur. Everyone knows it by now. I'm not going to play the clip. He did post an apology about it on Monday morning, I should say. Again, I discussed everything, all my thoughts about it in the last video. If you want, there'll be an icon on the top right of your screen. You can click that and it will send you to the video where I discuss my thoughts on the situation. But now that Kyle Larson is confirmed, now I want to discuss what his future holds in NASCAR. Now, a lot of people are saying that Kyle Larson should not deserve a second chance. In fact, there's two sides. There's one side that think Kyle Larson should not have been fired, and there's the other side that think Kyle Larson should never race in NASCAR again. I'm in the category of giving everyone a second chance. Regardless of what they have done, if they're willing to accept what they did and willing to make the appropriate steps to ensure and make people know, hey, this was a one-time thing, or this was something that was completely out of character and I will never say this again, then I'm going to give him a second chance, okay? Now, what happens to his career? Well, what I can say is this. You're not going to see him in a Cup Series this year, next year, and maybe the year after that. I see if Kyle Larson is going to return to the Cup Series, I see it maybe till 2023 before even, and I say that's earliest, before people are somewhat comfortable with Larson and not only being in a Cup car but also in a top ride and sponsors, agreeing to let Kyle Larson drive the car, or drive the car with their sponsor on the hood. But the question is, if he's going to return to the Cup Series, where would he be? I do think that time will eventually pass, and I think, like I said, if he's willing to accept it and do things to make sure, let people know, hey, this will never happen again, and people will forgive him and they will give him another shot at the Cup level, you're not going to see him at Chip Ganassi. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe one team that has been able to overcome controversy with another driver is Stewart-Haas Racing. Now, remember back in 2014, and this, I understand, these are two completely different situations with Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch was in didn't say a racial slur, but he had anger management issues, and teams and sponsors did not want to work with him. Again, I realize the Larson situation and the Kurt Busch situation are two completely different things. I understand that. However, context still the same. People thought Kurt Busch's career was over. A lot of people think Kyle Larson's career is over. I don't think that's the case. Well, Kurt Busch, also on top of that, he had that issue with a domestic violence lawsuit with him and his former girlfriend, Patricia Driscoll. Stewart-Haas still kept him. Not only they still kept him, more sponsors came in, actually. More sponsors came into to Stewart-Haas Racing to sponsor Kurt Busch. Now he's with Chip Ganassi Racing, and sponsors want to work with Kurt Busch. People love Kurt Busch now. So Stewart-Haas, I feel like, is able to sort of clean up a driver, make them get their head straightened out, and able to still find a way to attract sponsors and have them sponsor controversial drivers, like what happened with Kurt Busch. And I want to reiterate, I know the situation is not the same magnitude. Kurt Busch having anger issues compared to Larson saying a racial slur is huge amounts of a magnitude. I get that. But regardless, a lot of people thought Kurt Busch's career was over. Stewart-Haas was able to pick him up. And remember, Kurt Busch came in with zero sponsorship. He did not, but this was before Monster Energy came on board. And they were still able to bring him in and give him sponsorship. Kyle Larson, when time goes by and he eventually returns to NASCAR, he's not going to get any sponsorship. And if so, it ain't going to be any big-time sponsorships like McDonald's or Credit One Bank. He's going to come in with no sponsorship, and I see Stewart-Haas Racing as the likely candidate to pick him up once time eventually goes by and he's able to do the right things in order to make himself a better person, in order to ensure that this thing will never happen again. Now, because let's be honest, by the time Larson, people are somewhat comfortable with Larson being in the Cup Series again, that 48 cars are going to be taken out, whether it's with, because more than, before I thought it was going to be Larson replacing Jimmy in the 48 car. Now it's more than likely going to be Keselowski replacing Jimmy. So the 48 cars are going to be locked. However, with Stewart-Haas, it's different. There are 2 rides that are going to be more than likely up for grabs. The 41 car with Cole Custer, that's already going to be a lock. Eric Almirola, more than likely, it's going to be a lock. But Kevin Harvick, he's got a 2-year contract. 2021, he signed a 2-year contract deal at the start of the 2020 season. I see that being his last contract. I don't see him signing another one for 2023 and onwards. I also don't see Clint Boyer maybe returning. I see him, depending on what happens, I see him maybe getting 1 or 2 more years at Stewart-Haas, and then I feel like he's going to retire and maybe move on to become a broadcaster for Fox Sports. Having 2 cars up for grabs, and those cars have a lot of sponsorship behind them. You have Rush Auto Parts, Mobile One, Haas, Busch Beer. I don't know if Busch Beer are going to stay with Stewart-Haas once Harvick eventually retires. I'm not sure of that, but there's a lot of sponsorship behind those 2 cars. Kyle Larson, he is a heck of a race car driver. There's no doubt about it. He's got a lot of talent. And I think once time eventually flies by, 2022, 2023, we could see him potentially back at Stewart-Haas Racing the Cup level. If not, then we might see him at the Xfinity level. Because they have a program, an Xfinity Series with Chase Briscoe. Maybe, let's say 2022. I don't think Chase Briscoe is going to be there for so long. But let's say 2022 or 2023, Briscoe jumps to Xfinity, replaces either Boyer or Harvick in one car, and they put Larson in the Xfinity Series, keep him there. Have him regain some momentum, maybe get some little sponsorship, and then grows from that, and then promote him back to the Cup Series. That is the best scenario I see happening. That's what I see if everything goes right. If everything goes the right way, that's what I see happening. Is Stewart-Haas Racing being his best option 2023. 21, 22, I just don't see it happening. Not only number one, I just don't think people will still be that comfortable. And number 2, I don't think there are any top rides that are going to be available. I see 2023, though, or 2024 being the right time for Larson to be back in NASCAR. I mean, another thing we need to point out is that NASCAR, he's still suspended by NASCAR. And because of the pandemic that's going on, NASCAR currently has not decided whether or how long his suspension will be because they're not running any races right now. Well, Larson's being fired. I mean, it's going to be very difficult. I don't think any team right now is going to want to even touch Larson at the moment. It's going to be quite some time before any team even considers picking up the phone to call Larson. I highly doubt that. But he's still suspended by NASCAR, and we don't know how long that will take. I believe with Jeremy Clements, because there was another situation where Jeremy Clements, in the same situation with Larson, that time, however, it was not recorded on camera where he said a racial slur. He was suspended, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks. I could be wrong about that. So it's not going to be months, or I don't see 4 or 5 months for Larson to be suspended by NASCAR. I see maybe a month or 2, but I don't see, I see some people saying 3 to 4 months, or so I heard some people even saying a full year he should be suspended. I don't see that happening. I do see a month, maybe 2. Again, that's just my opinion, and that's if we're in a scenario when we get back to racing. I think that's when the suspension will take in effect, really. Because I don't think, you can say that, hey, suspension lasts a month, even though there's no racing going on, and once the suspension comes up or is done, racing could be back going, and Larson can, if anyone is very risky into wanting to sign Larson, they can do that, and Larson would technically not miss a single race. So I think NASCAR is going to hold a suspension and keep it going until you get back to racing. That's how I see NASCAR doing this whole process. But worst case scenario, I feel like Larson might just go back to dirt racing. He's got, I think, 1 or 2 sponsors has said that they are behind Larson. I think Plan B Sales says they're 100% behind Larson, but I'm not sure if they sponsor any of Larson's teams in the dirt series. I do know one sponsor is back up Larson. That is part of his dirt team. And I could see him possibly going back to dirt. Maybe. Because there are 3 possibilities. Either 1, a couple years later, 3 or 4 years later, we could see him back in the Cup Series. B, he just returns to dirt and stays in dirt. Or C, who knows? Depending if more sponsors start to come out, even now from Larson's dirt team. Because remember, all sponsors from the Cup Series, they're all gone. Credit One Bank left. McDonald's left. Clover / First Data left. That's all of his sponsors, and they're all done with him. So he's got no more sponsors in the Cup Series. Now all that's left is in the Dirt Division, or Dirt Series. iRacing, which I believe sponsors him in the Dirt Series, they have, or in his Dirt team, they have cut ties with him. Lucas Oil, they have suspended their relationship, and I believe also they have, but I think just recently they took down that Twitter post. I don't know why. Also just found out Chevrolet, they cut ties with Larson. Now that also sort of ensures that more than likely if Larson's going to return to the Cup Series, let's say if, it's not going to be in a Chevrolet, more than likely going to be in the Ford or Toyota. Maybe a Toyota, because Toyota and Larson do have a relationship back then in the early 2010s when Larson was working his way up through the Can-Am Pro Series. He drove in the Toyota car. So maybe could see him in a Toyota, but overall, right now, everything is so fluid at the moment. I mean, we don't know how long this backlash is going to last. We don't know, again, we don't know what's the future holds for Larson, but I'm just giving my perspective of what I think would be the best scenario, what could possibly happen for Larson in his career. Again, it's going to be down to three things. Number one, we don't hear or see from him in the NASCAR for 2 or 3 years. It might see him return with Stewart Haas in the 4 or the 14 car. B, he just goes back to dirt racing. Maybe obviously once racing gets back going, maybe just have some time off to just not deal with everything, to get everything sorted out, and returns to race in the dirt division. And we may never see him in NASCAR again, or see his racing career just ends entirely. But that's that's very highly unlikely. I do think, again, once time goes by, Larson will get back into racing. I'm just not sure at which level, either on dirt or on asphalt. That I don't know, and it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take quite some time for us to really get a full grasp of what the future holds for Kyle Larson. But this was just a much shorter video. Again, I already vented everything on what I thought about the situation. I'm not going to do it in this video. This is just now, okay, that happened. What's the future like for Larson and Larson only? I already talked about what I thought about this situation and how the future holds for NASCAR. This video was just to talk about what the future holds for Larson and his racing career. What do you guys think in the comment section down below? What do you think what's going to happen to Larson? Do you think he's going to return to the Cup Series? And if so, which team? Or if not? If so, do you think he's going to go to dirt, or do you think his racing career is just done? Again, tell me in the comment section down below. I would really love to hear your thoughts on this situation, because this is a topic that I like to hear from all perspectives. You know, not specifically in the last video that I did, I got a lot of comments from a lot of different perspectives, and this is the same video. I want everyone from different types of perspectives to come in and give me your opinions on this story. Hopefully I'll try to get back to normal programming. I do have a video I want to get finished either tomorrow. I want to get it started, and maybe by Thursday or Friday upload it. I'm not sure. Time is a bit iffy at the moment with school going on and everything online, but I'll try to get another video up later in the week. But until next time, my name is Jack Cross from NASCAR on MDK, and I'll see you guys in the next video.